Uh, Before we dive into the world of 90s teen movies, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. As a child of the 90s who grew up with the likes of Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You, I must say that Cruel Intentions was a breath of fresh air. And this movie, released in 1999, was like a punch to the gut for those of us yearning for something more mature, more cynical, and more grown up than our previous teenage cinematic experiences. And the film centers around a tale of intrigue and control, revolving around a network of deceit crafted by two-step siblings residing in New York, portrayed by Ryan Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Uh, this adaptation, set in the 90s, is inspired by Pierre Chodello Delaclos' 1782 novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses, with Sarah Michelle Gellar playing the master manipulator and Ryan Phillippe portraying the ruthless ladies' man, and their goal to ruin others for sport. And because of unrequited feelings, very the cast of Cruel Intentions is excellent, and its biggest asset is undoubtedly the chemistry between the lead actors. Ryan Phillippe is cool, but Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair are brilliant. Gellar's portrayal of Catherine, the far from Buffy character, is detestable, using her sexuality and social power in ways that will leave modern younger viewers squirming. However, she's incredibly entertaining and seems to be calling for a revival of this type of sexually aware storytelling. Reese Witherspoon and Selma Blair make up the primary cast system. Witherspoon portrays her character with a mix of innocence and skepticism, displaying an almost saintly image. On the other hand, Blair shines as the comical Cecile Caldwell, a character who unwittingly gets involved in a dark game of revenge, masterminded by Catherine. Her performance adds a touch of absurdity and childlike innocence that softens the harshness of the other characters, while also subtly reminding us that not everyone here is old, just not so really completely needing to vote. And so this is basically very much basically maintaining it basically didn't meet enough to for all of its surface gloss. Cruel Intentions is surprisingly deep. The story is one of the film's biggest strengths, and it holds up remarkably well even today. The portrayal of female sexuality is particularly striking, where Catherine appears to manipulate from behind a facade of respectability, while Sebastian freely displays his exploits. And the gender double standard serves as an intriguing aside, but it ultimately underscores how Catherine's actions reveal her monstrous nature. The movie skillfully transforms an ensemble of characters who are generally loathsome: the cocaine using wealthy teenagers, the empty-headed socialite, the malicious gay confidant, brilliantly portrayed by Joshua Jackson, into endearing figures and muddy. The film is a grand display of deception, which was one of the most captivating aspects of Dangerous Liaisons, where anyone could turn out to be treacherous. Even the most honorable characters can easily succumb to corruption given a slight nudge. The biggest problem for the new remake series of Cruel Intentions is how sexually provocative it is, and For more prudish generations, the extended kiss sequence between Catherine and Cecile would be counted as unnecessary in its close-up glory. The step-sibling flirting may be too amoral, and the casual destruction of people's lives might prove too spicy. I hope not, because they're all things that made the original iconic, but we're also just ornaments on a far more rewarding, rich story. Uh, as a movie enthusiast, I must admit that the tension in this film escalates quite dramatically, even if the climax leans towards the absurdly emotional. The protagonist, Philippe, grapples somewhat unevenly with his internal conflict. Should he choose the path of righteousness or indulge in an ill-advised romantic entanglement with his stepsister? Yet this is precisely what Catherine intended, to portray a character so disillusioned and bitter that her plan of destruction seems only slightly excessive. Fortunately, the movie stays true to its over-the-top nature, leaving it up to us viewers to discern the comedic undertones. In that analogy, you find the cleverest part of Cruel Intentions, which was largely overlooked at the time, because the idea of teenage identity was still not quite as pervasive or as understood in 1999 as it is now. In their world, our world, because I was a teenager when this movie tickled my synapses just right, everything is monumental and no reaction is overdone. Again, the subtle commentary on elitism is sprinkled on ever so gently. Cruel Intentions soundtrack still slaps, and the song selections seamlessly blend with the scenes. And the iconic Blur track Copy and TV underscores the movie's most memorable, or perhaps notorious moment. While Placebo, Skunk Anansie, The Verve, and Counting Crows provide excellent musical cues throughout the film, I can attest to the fact that this soundtrack stands alone beautifully, even without the movie playing. The carefully selected tracks enhance each scene exceptionally well, demonstrating a remarkable musical sensitivity that deserves more recognition in today's cinema. Maybe it's because the songs themselves are particularly captivating. Cruel Intentions remains a delightfully over-the-top dramatic film that was perhaps unfairly underestimated when it debuted, despite its Rotten Tomatoes rating of 53%, which seems quite low compared to the 80% audience score. I'm still puzzled as to why. Upon revisiting some of the reviews, it appears that the film was criticized for being cynical and immoral, but this criticism misses the mark, because that's precisely what the famous movie is aiming to portray: service pages. But initially, I discussed movies like Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You, both marketed towards similar audiences, but they were starkly different. This Cruel Intentions stands out as more mature, edgy, and thought-provoking, going beyond the eternal theme of love. Though it does have this element, it's indeed cynical, much like Dangerous Liaisons. But the elitism portrayed in Cruel Intentions has a striking resemblance to real-world situations that makes it surprisingly relevant, even in 2024. This similarity could potentially lend itself to a refreshing update in a remake. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.